मोरे रोमा झूमा सखी मोरी रोमा झूमा बादल गरजे बरसे सखी।
Hello everyone and welcome to Katha by Shraddha. Today I have a very special person with me here today, a special guest, Jyoti Matangi. Welcome Jyoti.
Hello.
Hello. Ani, thank you so much for coming all the way from Mumbai to be here with us on Katha and with our audience today.
That's my pleasure too. Thank you.
Jyoti, I've called you here for a very special reason. Do you know why?
No idea.
No?
No.
Okay. So here's a secret. Every time I call Jyoti and talk to her, she's a very good friend of mine. Every single time I chat with her, she has so many kathas to share with me. From her history, from her background, from her experiences of the past, right?
Yes, that's
True
right.
or not?
That's right, of course.
Yeah. And I'm always so fascinated by your stories, Jyoti, that I wanted an opportunity to share your stories with a larger audience.
Sure, why not?
All right. So, Jyoti, tell me this. What is it that you do?
Well, I am basically a classical singer. I have had a formal training in Hindustani classical music, and I am teaching now to my students. So I love teaching. You know, it's a different pleasure. Performing is different, and teaching is yet another experience.
And you are also
I'm a storyteller too.
That's right.
Which is what I started pretty recently. But Shraddha likes it.
I love her stories. I really do. And Jyoti has her own channel. And be sure to check it out. It will be linked on the top in this video. So be sure to click on that and go to Jyoti's channel. You will find many stories there. You'll also find beautiful classical recitals too.
Yes.
So I'd really encourage you to check that channel out.
Yes, please do so.
So let me plunge right in. My one question for you, Jyoti, is so you've had this long musical journey, right? Starting at a young age, I'm sure, and training with classical music, and now you train others in classical music.
Yes.
What is the one thing that you can call is your true sathi?
Well, when a person learns classical music, the closest sathi, as you called, is your tanpura.
Okay.
Your tanpura is your friend, is your guide, everything.
Really?
And your guru really initiates you towards the tanpura.
Really? Okay.
He decides when you should start singing with the tanpura.
Oh, so usually when you start, like, it's not immediately that you get to use the tanpura?
It's different with different gurus.
Okay.
Some gurus feel that at the age of 5, when a student starts, the first thing he does is gives you the tanpura and your training begins.
Okay.
But many feel that initially if you give a tanpura, it's hard, it's difficult to perfect your sur. So many a times, I do that also, many a times we initiate with a harmonium and do with it after a while, and then it's just the tanpura.
So just from this, so many questions are popping in my mind.
Okay.
First question, at what age did you start training?
10. I start training at the age of 10 because a student less than that, of course, some are prodigies, some are extremely talented, but for them, they even start at the age of 5. But I feel attention span isn't much.
Okay.
The student isn't able to sit through for a long time.
I see. So, another question. You talked about sur and tanpura. Is that the main role of the tanpura?
Yes.
Okay.
Unlike any other string instrument, a tanpura just gives you the notes sa, pa and sa. But other string instruments like sitar or any other instrument, you can play the entire tune on that instrument, but this is like a drone.
I see. So it gives you a background bass that you can then build your entire
Rag.
classical rag
Around
on.
it. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So tell us about your first Tanpura.
My first Tanpura. It's really an interesting episode because my Guruji felt that, it's time for her to start singing with the Tanpura. And so they told my parents.
And I'm going to interrupt you there. How old were you then when your Guruji decided you were ready?
13.
13. Okay.
Yes, 13, 14, teenager.
Okay. Teenager.
So then what happened was my Guruji called up the shopkeeper. See, it wasn't like it is today. You go to a shop, oh, give me that, how much does it cost? And you buy it and come.
Right.
Or some people
Online.
do it online.
Right.
So this was a very auspicious thing that your Guru tells the karigar
Right.
or the maker that my student will be coming. Do make a Tanpura for her of so and so scale. So which is what happened with me. So my mother and me one day, by the way, I was brought up in Kolkata.
Kolkata.
I need to tell you that.
Okay.
So we used to have those hand-pulled rickshaws.
Right.
And my mother had a sitar which she couldn't pursue for particular reasons. So we put the sitar in the rickshaw and we went to the famous shop called Saraswati Music Mart.
Okay.
We went there.
It must have been quite a sight. The hand-pulled rickshaw.
Yes, with the
your mother,
two ladies.
you, and the sitar was in the middle?
Yeah, in the middle. But this is pretty common. This was pretty common in Kolkata. People used to travel in rickshaws with so many things. Anyway, we went there, whatever the shop was asked, wherever the shop we were asked to go. So we saw Shambhu Babu.
Shambhu Babu.
Shambhu Babu, the owner of the shop. He, and you know, those days, even today, the shops used to be right on the footpath. It was a tiny shop, and we saw a fat man with wearing that white kind of, what do you call it? Bandi, yeah,
Okay.
and a dhoti. Eyes shut, and he was playing a sitar. So many people had gathered over there to see what was happening.
To listen.
So me and my mom, we just stood there, couldn't speak a word because it was so melodious. So after a while, when he finished, he opened his eyes, and then my mother said that, when he saw my mother, he said, "Are, you've come back." Because my mother had bought the sitar
from him. And he remembered.
He remembered.
Wow.
And then my mother said, he felt so sorry. He felt so bad that the sitar was being returned. He said, anything wrong? Do you want it repaired? My mother said, no, Shambhu Babu, I am so sorry, but I am not able to pursue
it.
But this is my daughter Jyoti, and she is now learning under a very good guru, and we want a Tanpura.
Jyoti, do you hear that music in the back?
Yes, we do.
That is Ganpati
practice
going on. So we'll just have to barrel our way through that. And I apologize, but it's kind of fits in sort of with our melodious story here.
Since it's a musical thing.
Correct, yeah.
Let that be in the background.
Go ahead.
So then everything decided. Then in between I butted in. I said, Shambhu Babu, koto din lagbe? Meaning, how long is it going to take? So he says, ek mash lagbe. 1 month.
1 month?
Yeah.
After you place the order, 1 month till you get your tan.
So I was wondering, why 1 month? Does it take that long? Anyway, we came home and he wrote down our number and said, I'll give you a call. Please don't come and ask me. He was a little blunt, but an excellent artist. Artist in the sense, not just playing the sitar, but used to make the instrument.
Excellent craftsman.
Yes, craftsman. So when we went home, I asked my mom, I was grumbling. 1 month I have to wait for this. This is so disgusting.
Like all teenagers.
Yes.
Even in those days, in a hurry, right?
Yeah,
to get
in a hurry. Yes.
What you want immediately.
So, but believe me, that wait makes your urge
even stronger.
So, but we being smart Alex, what I did one day was, coming back from school, we had started traveling by public transport by that time. So I got off at that bus stop where his shop was. I went up to him. I said, Shambhu Babu, Tanpura kothay? Where is my Tanpura? So he said, what Tanpura? He took out his whole big file and checked my receipt and everything. And he said, looked down with his specs like that, looked at me and said, I told you 1 month. You've come after 4 days. Bare ele ami debo na tomai. Meaning, if you come again and again, I'm not going to give you your Tanpura. He got very irritated and I got scared and I came home. After 15 days, I took one friend of mine.
As a support.
So if he screams at me, she will be there with me. Again I went. This time, he wasn't angry. He realized probably my
where you're coming
anxiety.
From. Yeah.
So he took a chalk and then he said, see, can you see on the ceiling? And when I saw, do you know what I saw?
What?
So many pumpkins were hanging from the ceiling.
Okay.
I said, what is this? He says, this is what your Tanpura is going to be made up of. So if you have seen a Tanpura, it has that round portion with a wooden bar. And the strings are on the wooden bar. That round portion is really a pumpkin.
Are you serious? There's a pumpkin inside a Tanpura?
Yeah. So that pumpkin is not the one which we use, the red pumpkin for our vegetables.
Bhaji or whatever.
Nothing. So this is a special variety which is grown near Miraj and all. That's the place where Tanpuras are maximum made. There are fields and fields of this pumpkin. And this pumpkin is bitter.
Very bitter.
Very bitter. Humans don't eat it. Animals also don't eat it.
I see.
So that pumpkin is got from there, it's scraped out and hung from the ceiling. And Kolkata being a very moist, humid place, it takes ages for it to dry. It has to become nice, crisp and dry after you empty it out. And only then can you join the wooden bar and do the remaining work. So he took a piece of chalk and he said, Ki naam tomar? What's your name? So I said, Jyoti Kale, I said. So anyway, so he wrote Jyoti on that pumpkin and he says, now onwards when you come here, don't ask me, just look up. If your pumpkin is still there, which means no, we are not ready. And I will give your mother a call, don't come anymore. So I got so scared. After that, I didn't go at all.
So that meant that if you were to just walk by and just glance maybe without going in because you didn't want to anger him anymore.
No.
And just glance and if you saw the pumpkin, it obviously wasn't ready. But if you did not see your pumpkin there, probably it was almost ready.
So anyway, I didn't go anymore because I was pretty scared and I got busy with the exams and all. And every time, those days we used to have those black telephones.
Yes, I remember.
So
with the handle and the circular rotary dial.
Dial.
I am definitely old enough to remember those and I've used them in my childhood.
So every time that phone used to ring, my ears used to stand up and I used to wonder. And from the conversation, one can make out who's
at the other end.
And every time I used to ask my mother, is it Shambhu Babu? She said, no, it's not Shambhu Babu and don't keep pestering me. There are so many other people who are going to call us on this phone. One day, Shraddha, what happened was, I was busy doing my homework because the next day we had a test or exam or something. I heard the phone ring. I didn't go. I said, it's not Shambhu Babu. Why go and waste time? And then mom will scream at me. But my dad picked up the phone.
Okay.
And he didn't much understand Bengali. I did, my mother did. So he called out my mother. Are Shakuntala, I just come. Somebody is talking in Bangla. I just can't figure out. My mother came and then she said, hey, Shambhu Babu.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, I was so glad. I ran out of the room and I came to listen what they are talking. So anyway, Shambhu Babu said, your Tanpura is ready. You can come and collect it anytime. You can come right now. My mother said, at this point, it's pretty late. I'll come tomorrow morning. He said, yeah, no problem. Anytime. And kept down the phone. And I said, what do you mean it's late? We need to go right now.
It was already too much, 1 month.
Yeah. And now you're saying it's late.
Too late.
Then my dad also kind of understood. He said, okay, we'll go by our car. Generally, he is not so benevolent and he never says, I'll take you here, there. But anyway, we went, we got the Tanpura. And since then, he is my Sathi. I did so many competitions with that Tanpura. I did such a lot of riyaz with that. Taught so many of my students.
True Sathi.
True Sathi. And it's got a feel. When you play the Tanpura, that wooden bar, it kind of touches your temples. And the sur, it resonates in your head.
You can feel the vibration.
Yes.
I see.
Anyway.
So Tanpura to Tanpura also there is a difference.
Yes.
In that
depending upon your scale in which you sing, the Tanpuras are prepared. Now what is different? The strings. The thickness of the strings.
I see. So this is truly like a made-to-order, personalized Tanpura.
Yes, absolutely. So then this is how. Then
so it's almost like when in those days, especially because now, as you say, people buy online or just go to shop and buy. In those days, it was like a true relationship, right? You are invested in building that relationship and maintaining that relationship with your riyaz. And it's just like when people connect over a long time, they have a special unsaid understanding.
And the more you use, the sound becomes sweeter. You need to use it. You can't put it in a corner and
just keep it for show.
No. You need to use it. Tune it every day and sing with it. And so that was what. But sadly enough, 2, 3, 4 years back, my Tanpura passed on.
Really?
Yeah. One of my students, although I tell them to be careful with these things, but they are students, so it just slipped out of her hand, and from this distance it just fell down to the floor. I got a big crack to the round portion, pumpkin portion. I didn't know how to react to it actually, and so then you can't do anything about it.
It's irreparable.
No, it's irreparable. Yes.
It's not like a string breaks and you replace the string.
Not at all. So then finally I took it to a shop. I said, can we do? He said, the least I can do is take it from you and give you a new one instead of that, which is what I did. But that day, Shraddha, I felt so bad. I cried and I cried and I cried. You know how it felt?
It's like losing a friend.
Losing a friend or a member of your family. It's been with me for so many years. I think approximately 30-40 years it's been with me. So this is how the story goes about my Tanpura. And of course I have a new one now. But that sur I'll never forget. I know the look of the Tanpura also now.
The bond is still strong.
Yes, it had a dark brown color. The one which I have is slightly lighter in shade. But yeah.
Well, my wish is the new Tanpura also is your Sathi for the next 40 years. Or as close to 40 as it can
Whatever.
get.
Yes.
Wow.
So,
Jyoti, thank you so much for sharing. I think this is a pretty incredibly personal story. So thank you very much for sharing that with us today. And I have a request.
I will never forget that character, Shambhu Babu. Shambhu Babu I will never forget. Although he wasn't one of those very pleasant characters. But
well,
he
think
did.
True artists and true craftsmen have a certain thing about them that we can easily, accept because of their art.
Right?
True. So, speaking of art, would you incredibly honor us and in honor of your Sathi, the Tanpura, sing us a few notes?
Okay.
Let's, I understand that if you need to prepare for a minute or so, we'll take that minute.
Yes. Let me just talk about what I'm going to sing.
Sure.
See, in classical music, we have various ragas, and each raga depicts a particular season or a particular time. So likewise, in this rainy season, you have rags called monsoon rags, like Malhars.
For example, Malhar.
Yes.
Right.
So, but this particular rag which I have chosen is Rag Durga.
Okay.
This is definitely not a rainy rag.
Okay.
But you know, the bandish, the construction, the composition of the bandish is such that it does give you a feel of the rains.
I see.
So, I think 50, it's not just Malhar you choose and it's going to give you, no, the lyrics are equally important. Suppose on the Malhar Rag, you have the lyrics of some random situation. You might not even feel the rain
or the feel of the monsoon or the rain.
So to feel the monsoon, to feel the effect of the rag, the lyrics as well as the sur, both are important. In this case, this is a very special bandish set in Jhaptal, 10 matras.
Okay.
And it does give you a feel of the rag.
So I am completely, I won't even say novice, I would say even below a novice in understanding about classical music, but I do know when I like something that I hear.
Sure.
Yeah. So please enthrall
us. Give me 2 minutes.
Take your time. Take your time.
So this is an electronic tanpura.
Ah,
okay. So these days this is used a lot because the strings or the sur doesn't slip. In a normal tanpura, suppose we are sitting in a room, in a recording room, or we are sitting in an auditorium, what happens is because of the air conditioner, the strings change.
So my son has an app on his tab that he uses for a tanpura in the back as he plays his basuri.
Yes, you could do that also.
Right? So at least this you could carry with you from Mumbai. Compact.
सखी दूसरे सखी से कह रही है, सखी मोरी रूम झूम बादल गरजे बरसे, सखी मोरी रूम झूम रहना अंधेरी काली बिजोरी चमके, कैसे जाऊं जलवर में बादल गरजे बरसे सखी. So a special portion, रहना अंधेरी. So we're talking about the night being dark. So
night.
Here my Guruji used to say, throw your voice. रहना अंधेरी काली बिजोरी चमके. Now the request comes. काली बिजोरी चमके, कैसे जाऊं. Desperation, request and एक विवशता.
Right.
No. जाऊं
it's like a hopeless situation, right?
Yeah. So wonderful. I love this bandish and thought of sharing
Please, can you continue for just a minute more?
All right. सखी मोरी रोमा झूमा सखी मोरी रोमा झूमा बादल गरजे बरसे सखी रैना अंधेरी रैना अंधेरी कैसे कैसे जाऊं कैसे जाऊं जल भरने बादल गरजे बरसे सखी.
Wonderful, wonderful, Jyoti. Thank you so much. It's incredibly melodious.
Thank you so much, Shraddha, for listening to me, to my story all through. And
it was a very poignant, very heart-touching sharing that you did. In fact, we're very grateful because, like I said, it was a very personal
I am still
story.
Transported to Kolkata.
And Shambhu Babu's
position sitting there.
Yeah.
And chewing pan.
Oh, okay.
And playing the sitar, you know. But when he used to shut his eyes and play the sitar, it was like heaven, bliss.
You were transported.
Yes, of course.
Wonderful.
Great.
But again, thank you for making the time.
My pleasure. Yeah? Yes.
So thank you so much.
Continue doing this more.
We will.
Next time too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you for sticking with us and listening to that sweet rap.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jyoti.
Yeah.
Bye.